Mike, I hope you're recording right now.
I brought a list.
Yeah, don't
shut
you
the
know?
fuck up.
Let me name drop a couple.
What's your top 5 worst
Well, actually, I could probably,
sounding podcasts?
probably list that off, honestly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Davey Squires.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Squires Station podcast. I'm your host, Davey Squires, and this episode is presented by Area 67 Studio in Cuyahoga Falls. Today on the show, I got Tyler and Charlie from the Believing the Bizarre podcast, and I think, are you guys still playing out as North Route? Is that still a thing?
Not really. No, I mean 2020 I think has been a year off for a lot of artists that play music and 6-string instruments. But no, we've been focusing very heavily on the podcast.
Yeah. So how's that been for you guys?
Okay, so I do a lot of the editing, and Tyler does a lot of the other stuff. What do you do?
Marketing.
It was marketing stuff.
Okay.
It's been different in terms that this is the first creative project since I've known Charlie in 10 years that like went beyond our friends and family. And it's kind of, I think if there's anything that's been good about 2020, it's so many people have been home looking for things to entertain them. So it was kind of like a perfect time for us to start this new project and kind of set up all the pieces so that so many different people outside of just who we normally would talk to or tell to listen had a chance to listen, and they continue listening, and we love and thank them for that.
Yeah. So, you guys can answer this with different answers here, but can you tell the audience how you got into podcasting?
Ooh, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go first. I'm gonna go off your answer. It's gonna be very
okay.
improv answer.
In July of 2019, we started like a variety show podcast. It was ambitious. It was based on a lot of podcasts that we like, and it didn't. We knew the whole time that it wasn't a specific or targeted podcast. It was called the Segway Podcast. You were a guest on it, but it was like nobody could ground themselves in a podcast because what we thought would be cool, like a variety. It's like the first week of the month we do restaurant reviews, and the second week we look at a movie. Then the third week we interview people. Like we interviewed you, the week 3 VIPs. But then it's like we got to the point where we realized, 1, we weren't growing. 2, somebody might love our food reviews, but they might hate our movie reviews. There was no niche. It was so untargeted. And it got to a point where we decided that we needed to make a specific choice. And we did try to balance Believing the Bizarre and Segway podcast, but it just, the workload just, it got too much, especially with being in school and having full-time jobs. And the response that Believing the Bizarre got compared to what Segway was getting was just so massively different that we couldn't justify spending the little free time we did on Segway when it just didn't seem to have any value, which is a bummer because we had a huge push for it to become a really local podcast. We were like, all right, we're going to become community members. We're going to get out there. Like, we are going to become a local Northeast Ohio podcast. And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, shit.
Yeah. Well, did you guys have that idea going into that it was going to be so just like there's going to be a lot of variety in the show?
Yeah, that was the main idea. It was like a variety show. I actually started a podcast before I was doing anything with Tyler, and it had the same problem. It was a variety show, and like I think I just let it die after like 8 episodes.
That was like an interview.
Yeah, it was like an interview with people I knew. There was no way for it to grow.
Yeah. I am proud of us we went a whole year with Segway, though, before we killed it off. It is funny, because even when we started Believing the Bizarre in July of 2020, we were like, Segway's not going anywhere. We're doing a T-shirt giveaway for our 1 year. And my coworker won it, and we made it. I was just like, do you want a different shirt? Like, do you want to Believing the Bizarre shirt? But, okay, to answer...
It could be vintage, though.
To really answer the question, and obviously you did it before I did, but music was really fun. Like you said, we were in a band, North Route, punk band. It was a lot of fun. I got to live a lot of bucket lists off of my bucket list. Check a lot of them off. Like we got to play a lot of venues. I got to, play with other bands, get in the community, play on stage, electric and stuff like that outside of just open mics. But I think it became clear that one, we were never going to become successful beyond just what it was, which is okay. Not every band needs to. But I also had this moment where our bassist really wanted to tour, and I got to the point where I was like, okay, if we got asked to go on a tour, I have a job that I love. Would I financially be able to go on tour and leave my job? And I was like, no. So what am I doing?
Yeah.
It felt disingenuous to him, and you can always pick up a guitar and do an open mic. So I wasn't going to lose out on the music aspect of my life. Obviously, COVID had something to do with that now.
Mm-hmm.
But podcasting was kind of like we could do it on our own terms. You don't have to get it's like a show where you have to get people to come out. Like when we reach out to people and we're like, hey, we're a podcast, blah blah blah. They're like, all right, I'm a little busy this week, but I'll give it a shot. I'm like, hey, whenever you want, we're in your pocket. Like we are on your phone. Like when you find time. Like I listen to podcasts when I walk my dog. If you're cooking and you like listening to podcasts, it's not like a live show where it's like, all right, Saturday, our set is 8:45 to 9:15. Please be there. Parking's in the back. It's like, no. When you want to listen to us, we will be there for you.
No more carrying amps.
No more.
That's probably the best thing about it.
I was just thinking about, though, how I lost weight by all the activity we were doing with that. Like carrying in, carrying out, setting up, like from your basement and stuff. I was actually just thinking about that today where it's like, I was getting a little bit more physical activity when we were touring. Not touring, but playing.
We did, carry a lot of stuff up a mountainside.
Yeah.
On Halloween.
Well, okay, one day. Yeah. But I'll let you answer the question. I feel like I just went.
What's the question?
How'd you start? I think you did. Well,
I did.
You said
I answered. I'm good. That was my answer.
Oh, I forgot. It must not have been that memorable.
Well, I was gonna say, like, on the live end of things, like, that's why I do a podcast and not any like live radio anymore, because that's, also podcasts are kind of becoming more popular and kind of there's more of a variety within them. Plus, you don't have to be like, hey, I'm gonna be live from this time. Exactly what you said. It's you get to do more with it, I feel like, too.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do live podcasts, too. It's not like you're completely losing the live aspect. We've only done one ever because we're a Paranormal podcast on Halloween, which he was alluding to. We went to Helltown, Ohio, and we hiked up this trail at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night and set up and did a live show there. So you still have the live component where you can get that instant feedback if you have somebody checking comments and stuff. But it's just so nice you're there and you exist when people need you there. It's not you only 30-minute slot where please come or else you miss out.
Yeah, exactly. So what's your guys' favorite part of doing the podcast?
Who went first? I'll go first, I guess. So I think my favorite part is sharing my weird ideas with people and then vibing with it. They're like, yeah, that is interesting. It's cool how aliens might be a thing. And they're like, yeah, it is cool, Charlie. You're right. And I'm like, that's never happened before. No one I know has ever been they're always like, you're weird. What are you talking about? Yeah, so that's my favorite part, I guess.
I really like the complete ownership of the brand, Believing the Bizarre, and the different.
You're so corporate.
If Tyler does marketing,
I really do treat it like a business. I 100% treat it like a business. I don't know who said the quote, but it's like when you have a very serious job, you have to have a sense of humor, but when you're in a silly job, you have to treat it in a serious way. And since we're in a comedy paranormal podcast, outside of those minutes that we're recording, I do treat it very seriously. But it's always fun. Every week, Charlie and I have a production meeting. Every single week, we get together and we're like, what could we do next? Do a live show. Are we going to launch a Patreon? Is there anything we can do with YouTube? What about a newsletter? Or what if we started reviewing paranormal movies and posting that? It's just really cool to create a product and see that it's actually resonating with people. Because like I said, this is something we've never experienced before. And to see and to not get complacent, to see what we can do next and continually grow. That gets me amped every day. It's there's no plateau. It's not just, all right, well, we figured out a formula. That's it for the rest of forever. Continual growing is really fun for me.
Well, now going off of that, is there a favorite TV show or movie you guys look to for inspiration for your topics?
Oof.
For me, okay, so I like a couple of podcasts a lot. And I don't say I take their topics, but sometimes we have cross paths.
Yeah.
It'll be funny because you'll text me. We'll do a topic, and then like one of his favorite podcasts will do it like a week later. He's like, "Oh my God, look, so and so just did this."
It was
Like they're totally copying, bro.
they're always listening, just like, what can we copy?
I mean, it'd
copy
be
these
cool
guys?
if they were listening. Though. Like,
Yeah.
I like last podcast a lot. On the left, like they're one of my bigger inspirations. Like what they do and also their comedy style.
My favorite paranormal podcast is definitely No Sleep Podcast, which is an indie, and they do not need a shout out from us. They are like an amazing theatrical reading podcast. I have a really weird habit that I don't like, and I've realized it in the last couple of years. If I'm in a creative avenue, I don't listen to other people in that niche out of fear of either taking from it subconsciously or purposefully taking from it.
Yeah.
Because I never want to be accused of somebody like saying you ripped something off, which I don't think that's naturally what happens. I think a lot of people, you should enjoy your community, but I realized that when I was writing, I didn't read a lot of my other people's writing around me. When I was in the punk band, I didn't listen to a lot of other punk artists in our area, and I realized as soon as we stopped doing North Route, I started absorbing all of it. It's like it was a relief, where it's like, okay, now I can enjoy other people's music without fear of that. And now I'm realizing there are indie podcasts out of support I do listen to, but I do have a little bit of a fear of listening to other paranormal podcasts just for that reason. Because I'm molded very easily, and if I listen to one, I might start seeing, because I can already see some of my favorite, like I listen to I Am Rappaport's Stereo podcast, I listen to The Herd with Colin Coward, and they're not in our niche, but I find myself doing mannerisms like them.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to do is steal subconsciously directly from somebody who's in our community, because that'd just be a bad time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and also it kind of, if you're not listening to that like one genre or one type of podcast, you're not really thinking about it like while you're doing it as much, I feel like, because like, I mean, I listen to like artist interviews and stuff all the time, and I kind of take what I need to take out of it, but I try not to kind of do the typical questions like that a normal, I guess, music or art interview would do.
Yeah. And that's smart. And I think it is, I don't like that about me. I think it's healthy to consume what you're doing in other avenues. I just notice about myself, because I think a lot of people would expect me to have a lot of paranormal podcasts that I listen to, and I don't.
Yeah.
I love paranormal movies. That's my biggest thing. Like, I could watch scary movies 24/7 until I die.
Okay. Oh yeah. So is there a favorite topic you guys have covered so far? Like, is there a favorite paranormal type topic or story that sticks out to you guys?
So my favorite topic in general is aliens. I think I mentioned that. Maybe one of my favorite things I researched, though, like myself, was the possession of Annalise. That was I had a very particular memory of like sitting in bed. It was like midnight, and I was like doing research, and I was like freaking myself out. I was like, I gotta go to sleep and wait for the morning.
Yeah, you're just like researching like every like sudden movement or sounds, just like what?
Dude, my cat like knocked the door, and I was like, I no.
I'm done. I'm out. It's just one. Can't do it.
Like it's a black cat too, so like I can see the shadow moving. I'm like, no.
There better not be a ladder nearby. You're fucked. Like.
I think my favorite episodes aren't necessarily topic based. I think it's when Charlie and I are both on, like when we both bring it 100%. Because there might be a topic I really like, but maybe I'm feeling flat or Charlie's feeling flat or something. But when we're both on in the moment, purely listening to each other, and that's when I think it's one of the best episodes. So I think probably one of my favorites was, I really like the Flatwoods monster.
I was thinking that.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, we covered Flatwoods, and because he'll finish the edits over the weekend or on Monday, because we launch on Tuesday, and he'll send it to me over a Google Drive, and I'll listen to it while I'm walking my dog at night, and I'm just like, damn, like that's a good episode. And sometimes we'll pick a really good topic, and I'm like, it's not bad. Although I will say, I've learned to stop being down on the episodes, because he does such a good job editing.
Oh, sorry.
Like, I'll listen to it raw, and I'll be like, God damn, like, well, there goes all our followers. and then I'll listen to the edit, and I'm like, man, he cleaned that up.
Yeah.
But I think I really like the one that it hasn't dropped yet, but it'll be out by the time this one comes out. We did whether or not Nibiru exists. that like planet that's supposed to collide with Earth.
Okay.
If you heard about that.
Yeah.
That one's really exciting. That really freaked me out because it was around the whole 2012 cataclysm and how the world was going to end with the Mayan calendar. And when I was like 16 years old in the middle of the 2000s, that really freaked me out. And I've kind of calmed down on it now.
Because the date has...
Well, yeah, the date's passed. But I mean, space itself
did
is...
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
he doesn't know what year it is.
Did the world actually end? And this is all...
There's simulation theories that the world did end in 2012, and that's why things have been extra unusual since
Well,
then.
either way, I still got to pay my student loans. So.
Yeah, if we can make a couple more unusual things happen, that would be great.
Flatwoods episode is 21, by the way.
Did you just look it up?
No, I actually I recently recommended it to somebody.
Oh, you were like, Flatwoods, episode 21. It's on Spotify, Apple.
Charlie's just
Stitcher.
got a works cited page.
No,
just open.
He just stands on the corner of the road, and he has one of the signs, but it's like, yo, episode 21 is pretty good.
Hey,
Check it
yeah.
out. No, don't give me, well, okay, you can give me money. But really, check out this. Do you have Apple? iPhone?
It has like all the streaming like on the bottom. Like
He folds it. It's one of those three folding student like classroom
Like,
things.
oh, Pandora.
It's like a 15th century map. It's just like it's a scroll.
What is Podbean?
Whoa! Let me tell you what Podbean is. I use Buzzsprout.
Do you use Buzzsprout?
I do.
We started Segway on
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, and that was dumb. And then we transitioned to Podbean, and then we stuck with Podbean for Believing the Bizarre. I mean, I feel like most of them are pretty
Similar.
Yeah.
We didn't do Anchor just because you have to do that ad, I think, to that spot.
Yeah.
Hey, do you like podcasts? We're Anchor.
Well, okay, we just didn't get paid for that. You just did it.
Fuck.
Hey, this episode is brought to you by Anchor.
Have you ever wanted to do a podcast? Everybody does. Especially if you're a celebrity.
Well, let me tell
Anchor's
you
like,
about
keep
it.
going, keep going.
This is great.
This is good. Come on.
Yeah. No, can you bleep those out? Every time we say Anchor, just bleep it out. No, they're cool. I mean, they give people a free platform to do podcasting. So
Yeah,
actually,
for
it's really
sure.
cool what they do.
Is that free, but you have to put the ad in?
We don't know. We didn't do it.
I think
is that
so.
what it
A
is?
couple of our friends do it. James Renner's podcast is Anchor.
Oh,
At
yeah,
least
I knew
season
that.
2. I think it is. I think it's free, and you can get ads get profit from downloads if you include the ad.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. You know.
Who's trying to make money? Come on.
You know. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Giant Eagle Purified Water. Mike brought the water today, guys.
I thought we were really going for a nap.
I fooled both of you. But I'm serious. Mike did provide the water, and really, I gotta give hats off to Mike.
Yeah. See, it normally would taste like shit, but it says minerals added for taste, so now it's not bad.
The taste just changed, like, as soon as you said that. Just like...
Minerals. You know, because they're not vitamins, but minerals. You know you need them.
Is there salt in here, though?
No, what? Why would there be salt?
I am feeling a little bloated.
Dasani puts salt in theirs.
Is it
Really?
like when you add,
Yeah.
it's like
That's
when you
why I
add-
have so many chins. God damn it.
We figured this out!
Can I get diet water?
Like when you
Diet.
put salt on chocolate, it tastes better, like that.
I don't know. Do they put salt in Dasani water?
Yeah, it says it's for taste, but I don't fucking believe that
Isn't it
shit.
by Coke?
It's still it's make it preserve, man.
Dasani makes Coke, yes.
No, well,
Or no,
Other
Coke
way,
makes
other
Dasani. Dasani.
They have a good agreement.
Coke water.
I like Fiji water personally.
Yeah,
Fiji
I'm sure
water.
it's from
Yeah,
Fiji.
can we have Fiji next time?
Yeah,
Fiji-
next time we're on. I'm gonna need those minerals.
Guys, come back tomorrow night and I'll bring some Fiji.
All right. We'll be here. So I'm looking at the sticker on your laptop, and it says Yosemite, and
Yeah.
all it can make me think of is when we were doing research for an episode, the Fresno Nightcrawlers. I do Google, YouTube, a little Wikipedia, but this guy was talking about this sighting that happened in Yosemite, and he was like, Yosemite National Park.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god! I'm gonna keep watching, but
I think Donald Trump did that too.
He did indeed.
Did
Yeah,
he?
He did
pronounced
indeed.
it like that.
Do you know how hard it is?
Yeah,
But it's not hard. We made the decision to not be political and to be 100% escapism. Like, we'll do a couple of jabs here and there, but it was there are some moments during the last 6 months that
Yeah, well, we started with a cop episode. So,
we did start with the cop episode. I made a couple cop jokes, but
Go ahead.
Have you guys tried to stay away from that?
Yeah, we try to. I
Make
mean,
some jabs.
it makes my blood boil, but we try to stay away from that. Just because what Tyler said, it's a escapism. That's why I edit, because I stutter so damn much.
Yeah, sometimes we'll say very not appropriate things, but then Charlie has the piece, the frame of mind to cut that out. But there's gonna be a blooper reel, right? That'll
One day.
turn everybody against us.
One day, yeah.
Yeah, we do some terrible things sometimes.
What's the kind of biggest things that you've learned from doing these podcasts?
Engagement is super important.
I think being as okay, this might be a cop out because I'm going based on what people have told us, but I'm learning by listening. A lot of people think it's refreshing that we don't take the master approach. Like when you listen to the podcast, we're not telling you how it is. It's not like we are experienced. We know exactly what we're talking about. Be ready to learn from us. It's more so like a lot of people say it's like a bunch of friends hanging out talking about these things. Like we will present the topics, the paranormal events that happen, and we talk about it in a very real way. We're not biased towards one thing or the other. Like, yeah, we want to make it entertaining, and we'll lean into that. But at the same time, it's still us putting our names out there. We don't want to put out a ridiculous topic and say believable just, for clicks or something like that. Like, we'll probably never have a viral moment because we're not going over the top one way or the other. We try to keep it as genuine as we can, and it seems to be landing that way with people, which means a lot to me.
Same.
Yeah.
I try to. We are in a bunch of podcast communities as well. Like I know it kind of goes against like what I was saying about how we don't listen to I don't listen to a lot of paranormal podcasts, but we are in a couple Facebook groups that have indie podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
And I try to take the good and I try to use the bad as like a warning. Like when I see somebody doing something wrong, and wrong is subjective. A way I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then I use that as a learning experience. Like, okay, I don't want to do that. I want to go down that path. And then I'll see somebody say something really cool. So I would say that community aspect has been really, really, really nice. And I've tried helping in certain ways as well. Because, like, we'll get people that are like, hey, here's my link. And it's like, okay, we're not doing that.
Some dude sent us a picture of
Oh,
his
yeah.
link.
Somebody sent us a picture of a link. I'm like, I couldn't even click on this if I want.
Like,
so you're
listen to my
expecting me
podcast. Here's
to
a picture.
You're expecting me to one, memorize the link or pull up 2 tabs and then copy it over. It's
It was
like
crazy. Or
in,
like, use
in
a
no
notebook.
context. It's like, hey, bro, here.
Really? No
No.
explanation?
It was some paranormal YouTuber,
Yeah.
which is, I have no problem reaching out. We reach out every day to people in our own way. That's not it.
Yeah.
Like sending a link without context is one thing because at least you could click on it and gather something. It's very non-genuine. It's like, hey, I don't know who you are. I don't know your name. Here's this. All right, next. Here's this. Here's this next. But like to send a screenshot of a link,
That was crazy.
it's like you're
crazy.
expecting a lot of work out of me here.
Yeah.
In any capacity, that's crazy. Like, no matter what you're sending, what?
Yeah.
What?
I think I learned how important sound quality is.
Yes.
To me, that makes a difference. Such a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, what's kind of the biggest thing you've learned about editing, Charlie? Like, I know podcasts encompass a lot of kind of multimedia, but
I feel like I learned through like the hardest of knocks. Like I definitely taught myself everything I know.
He's like,
I know. I don't think I'm that good. I
self-made.
think I'm mediocre, honestly. I think I'm okay. Like average. I think a lot of people would be surprised to learn that I edit on Audacity.
our budget is so low because we get compliments on our audio, and I'm like, you should see what we use.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know how to use it, Audacity is like, it can be pretty good.
Pretty good at guessing.
Yeah.
But like the blue snowball setup.
Yeah. So we're in like a Facebook group for like podcasters, and like if they saw our setup, they'd be so snobby about it, but our stuff sounds better than most of theirs.
And I always try to give people hope, and they're like, do I need a mixer? And it's like, does it help? Yes. Does it make life easier? Yes. Do you need it? No. Like if it's not in your budget, don't wait to start a podcast until you can afford it. Like you can make it work.
Yeah.
I tried it, but then they smack that shit.
Yeah, I know. They don't like it.
Well, that brings me to my next point here. Area 67 here is hosting podcasts. So we work on a lot of different podcasts, and we rent out space here for people to do their own podcasts. So that's kind of a cool new thing Area 67 has been doing here.
They should team up with Anchor.
Here you go. Anchor.
It is a really cool space. Like, it's a very cool space, very cool vibe. I like it. I like all the aliens. I feel like I'm at home doing this here.
All right, so I got one more question here. What tips would you give to anybody just starting a podcast?
Gotta find your niche. Your niche, whatever it is.
Nightche.
You gotta find it. Because that's how you find your community.
Don't overlook audio. You don't need to spend a ton. You do not need to spend a ton. But you have to consider it. And I would recommend content forward. Like, you might look at it as an opportunity to turn it into just an audio journal, and it might feel cool and empowering to just talk about yourself a lot. And if that's what you choose to do and it makes you happy, you should absolutely do what makes you happy. But I would strongly recommend putting content forward, because unless you're a celebrity, people typically aren't looking for just you, your life, and your opinions. It needs to be tied to something. So if you do want to talk about something personal, I would put it on the back end and lead with the content. Yeah. I think that's the best way to resonate.
I agree.
With people, in my opinion.
Like Anchor?
Like Anchor, because if you sign up today with Anchor, it's free. That's what you should. Yeah. Go with Anchor. Save your money and buy a mixer.
Put the promo code Tyler's
advice.
Water advice.
Yeah, Tyler's
Pineapple.
water with minerals.
Oh, can I ask you a question, Davey?
Yeah.
Does water have memory?
Yeah.
Can you explain?
So...
Well, do you know why water is connected to paranormal activity?
Because of the stone tape theory.
What's that?
It's where they record using stone.
I actually did find something out, dude.
Is it about that?
What'd you find out?
No, I found that water does take from humans, because what they did was they took water from the same thing, like drops or whatever, and they put it on somebody's eyes, two different people's eyes, and then they put it down, and they were different. So there's stuff on us. I'll have to look more into it, because it was going to be a topic. But they showed that it does actually take stuff from us and makes water
I was
different.
in Frozen 2.
Yes, that
what
was
you were
a joke.
getting
That's
at.
why you believe that.
Oh
That's why
my
you believe
God.
that. Because
Yes,
of
that's
Frozen
why.
2, which is so much worse than Frozen 1.
Oh, dude, that movie's garbage.
I like Frozen too.
Charlie's like, God damn it, guys.
Which we just had an episode about Haunted Disney World.
Ooh, yeah. There's some crazy stories I read on Reddit about Disney.
I wouldn't know, because we're not
Yeah, I
there.
don't know.
You'll have to forward those to us. Too old for Reddit.
They're all gonna be screenshots.
Yeah. We are on TikTok, though, so we're trying to be hip. Trying to
Nice.
fit in our old pants, like an old person might do.
You guys got any cool dances you want to
No.
share with the audience?
Absolutely
No.
Any
No. You know what I found out, though? Since we're talking about a performance, I do not have a vocalist endurance. To be able to sing for a long period of time, I do not have that. Podcasting, I can do. It's perfect. You're in, you're out. 30
Yeah.
minutes, you're speaking your tone voice. We would do like a 25-minute set, and by minute 24, I'm like, all right, guys, thanks for coming out. We're North Route. Buy our merch. Oh. And I just vomit on the stage, and they're like, never seeing them again.
You just projectile vomit, like.
Yep, and that's why we're not a band anymore.
Well, I mean, I guess you gotta hit the notes.
Yeah, it helps.
That's what the energy.
We
is.
chose punk, so we didn't always have to hit notes.
Yeah.
Well, I
but
mean-
every now and then they expect it, and every now and then I didn't. So.
There's- I mean, come on, Tyler. You gotta at least, there's some wiggle room in there. Like,
Yeah, I will say though that we played 2 shows with the same band about 8 months apart, and he was kind of a douche, but he came up to me afterwards and was like, "Bro, like your voice, man, like it got better." And I was like, "Oh well, okay."
At least he believes so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
as
can
long
tell you
as
who
long
it
as he
is.
thinks so.
He's.
I think I know.
You know who it is.
I think I know.
Are you guys gonna do open mics when it comes back, or?
I don't know how to play guitar anymore.
When's the last time you picked up a guitar?
A couple months ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
less than I thought.
I was making a joke.
Oh, how long has it been then?
Well, it was like a couple months ago.
Okay.
About not playing be able to play.
I would like to play open mics every now and then, as long as it fits within our schedule.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once the Patreon launches, it's going to get very busy.
That's gonna be super crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. So where can they find you guys at?
Everywhere.
Everywhere, pretty much.
Believing the Bizarre, Paranormal
com.
Conspiracies and Myths. That second part is just kind of there for SEO. You can Google us. We're on Google. We're on Apple. We're on Stitcher. We're on Podbean. We're on Pandora. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on... That might be it.
Stitcher.
I said that, I think.
Shit.
Spotify.
YouTube.
Yes.
Spotify, YouTube. You know how fun it is to watch a stale image for 40 minutes? There's
Yes.
apparently 65 people that like doing that.
Dude. Same.
Like I just put like the wavelength on it, and they're like, whoa.
I feel like the way I talk on the podcast, people think I'm like a huge stoner. Not.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. We appreciate it. I feel like now it's our turn. Like,
We don't have guests.
no, well, that's true, but I feel like it's been like it's been a back and forth because you interviewed North Route, and then Segway interviewed you, and now you interviewed Believing the Bizarre. We need to just keep changing monikers.
Holy
Who do you want to be next?
Yeah. Do you have a?
Chuck Norris.
No, really though. Yeah, you interviewed North Route, and then Segway interviewed you, and now
Yeah.
you're interviewing Believing the Bizarre.
Oh
So
my
you have
God.
to change next. No pressure.
Oh my god.
But it's your turn.
Hey, everybody can find me on Instagram at Davey_Squires and on Facebook, Davey Squires Music. You can also go onto my website, dsquires.com, for all the past episodes. And you can subscribe to my Patreon account for only $5 a month. You can get the episode bloopers. Holy shit, it's a sticker. Oh my lord.
That'll be $5. I brought one for God too. I mean, this is real, but he
God.
can,
Just throw it up in the air.
yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, my Patreon's $5 a month. You can get all the bloopers and extra artist videos on there. And that is it. Thank you guys again for coming in. It's always a blast, you know? It's
I
always
appreciate
a
it.
blast
We always meet up like once every 6 months.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. We just keep it going. Let's
It's
say it's your turn to change now, but
It's a bi-yearly thing,
yeah.
I feel like, yeah.